Hey everyone, Brayden here, coming to you with a breaking Disney news update as the day I am recording this is October 1st, 2024. And that's a pretty significant day for the Walt Disney Company. This is the day Disney's new fiscal year begins. And now that we are in fiscal year 2025, as far as Walt Disney World is concerned, what this means is whatever budget limitations for 2024 that were keeping things from being fixed, perhaps like the broken lights that you have on the ground in Epcot, and whatever 2024 capital expenditure limits were keeping new projects from getting underway at Walt Disney World, like the ones that we have been hearing about for a while now. Today is the day those budgets and those spreadsheets and all of that, it resets and re-ups for the new fiscal year, which means new money should be flowing in, and we are already seeing some big fiscal year 2025 funded projects getting underway, which we are about to get into. However, a new fiscal year doesn't just mean that Disney's going to invest in cool new stuff for us guests. It also means that in exchange for that, they expect to make a lot of money. So we are already seeing some new price hikes come in, as well as new promotional offerings rolling in today, where Disney is trying to get you over to Walt Disney World in 2025. And once you're there, make sure that those guest spend numbers are the highest that they've ever been. The first fiscal 2025 project that we are going to be talking about here today takes us over to the site of the former River Country Water Park, which closed in November of 2001 and sat abandoned for almost 2 decades. Back in late 2019, it became the construction site for Disney's latest Disney Vacation Club timeshare hotel property, a 10-story tower to be called Reflections, a Disney Lakeside Lodge, to be built right in between Disney's Fort Wilderness Campgrounds and Disney's Wilderness Lodge. And you'll note that this new one that they're putting in the wilderness area has a very modern aesthetic, let's say, in terms of the outdoor vibe that they claim that they are going for here. After demolishing River Country and conducting site grading for this project, the construction project was suspended in early 2020, like the rest of the projects getting underway across Walt Disney World at the time. However, unlike many other projects that were getting underway, like the Spaceship Earth update, the Play Pavilion, and the Mary Poppins attraction at Epcot, which were ultimately canceled, in the years since Reflections was put on hold, Disney has kept up with the permits that they were originally granted to build this new hotel, renewing them when necessary. That brings us to this week, where finally construction crews are back on site for the first time in 4 years, as you can see in these new photos from Blog Mickey, where the crews are conducting groundwork for what we currently assume will be the construction of the previously announced tower. The interesting thing here is, though, back in 2020, Disney erased the section of their website teasing this new DVC property, which many took as a sign that this project was never going to come to fruition as originally announced. So perhaps something about the design or the name or the intention of this hotel has changed in the years since, or given that they already did all the design and blueprinting work, we may still end up with exactly what was promised 4 years ago, a new DVC tower called Reflections. Disney hasn't said anything about this yet. If you call and ask them, they'll say, there's a construction site? What construction site? There's nothing there. What are you talking about? So hopefully Disney will give us an update on that soon. We have another tower being built in the vicinity over at Disney's Polynesian Village Resort, where we've recently got some brand new views inside the new guest rooms that you will have at this new DVC tower, which adopt a, shall I say, very Apple Store-esque design philosophy, where it's all sort of one color, this beige color, and then there's little pops of other color throughout, and that is often where you find the Disney intellectual property tie-ins. That's where those make an appearance. Disney's philosophy with this new DVC tower at Disney's Polynesian Resort is that rather than going with the old 20th century tiki theme, they're going for what they believe is a modern day Polynesia theme, where in fact Disney even contracted a tattoo artist to design a mural going up the side of the tower, and in place of the tiki gods that you would expect here at this tower, there are references to characters from Disney's Moana film. Now I've got to tell you guys, based on this art that we've gotten, I think that this is going to be a fully booked up timeshare property. I think all the regular guest rooms, those are going to be booked up for a long time to come. And the main reason why is because the views are going to be incredible. Even if you don't like the design style compared to the classic Disney Polynesian vibe, the newness factor alone of this, how it's trying to be fashionable and look very modern and everything, combined with the fact that you're going to have these amazing views, as I just mentioned, I think that this is just a sure thing for Disney. That's why they did it in the first place. Disney didn't build this because they wanted to take a risk or something. They knew that they were going to make a ton of money off of this and that it was a sure thing. And that's why they are already starting work on yet another DVC tower by the looks of it. Personally, though, I would have much preferred if they had stuck to the Tiki theme, which I think is just so Disney. That is Disney's Polynesian resort. It's much more proprietary and special and very vacation-y, whereas this feels much closer to, if I want to be generous, a Margaritaville and sort of that sort of vibe, or you could say it looks a lot like a Marriott even in some sort of tourist town where it doesn't feel as proprietary. Let me know what you guys think about what we are taking a look at here. And another thing on the views are going to be so awesome from this tower looking out over the Seven Seas Lagoon. However, if you're on the Seven Seas Lagoon or at any of those other beautiful hotels and you're looking back, the tower does not look the best. Actually, I think Disney did a better job on it than I was expecting based on the original art, where it looked very desaturated and not very colorful. They did put a little bit more of the warmness, a little bit more of the Polynesian color scheme in there, which I was happy to see. But basically what I mean to say is this is going to be an awesome tower to go and actually get a room at to really be able to take in the Magic Kingdom area, but it does come at a cost aesthetically for everything else in the Seven Seas Lagoon area. For a long time now, viewers have been asking me what is going on with the boxes that you have in the tower facade. What on earth are these? It looks like there's these big holes in the building. Some people have been asking me, is the monorail going to pass through those? No, the monorail is not going to pass through those. Disney has actually now provided us some new details on exactly what those are. They are called terrace gardens, where guests are going to be able to sit and relax and take in views of the Seven Seas Lagoon. And of course, at night, you're going to have the fireworks you're going to be able to see, as well as the electrical water pageant, all the Magic Kingdom area sites, all the boats going around and stuff. It's going to be a very serene area. And if Disney has any brains, there will be a Dole Whip machine and some drinks nearby. That would probably be a good idea there. Getting back on topic to projects that are getting funded as part of this 2025 fiscal year. This year, what are we going to see a lot of investment in? Where are we going to see a lot of crews moving around on a day-to-day basis? Another tower in this area, Bay Lake Tower, is now starting a big room refurbishment project, where in this new fiscal year, they are going to be modernizing its guest rooms, this tower next to the Contemporary Resort, and it is going to be getting some all new furnishings. So if you're staying at the Bay Lake Tower now through September 2025, expect to hear and see some construction work going on as the rooms get updates over there, which we don't have any further details on just yet. Getting to in-park projects that I expect us to see gear up quite soon, the big one is Dinoland USA over at Disney's Animal Kingdom. Of course, we saw at D23 in August the full model and plan, the official final plan for Disney's Tropical America's Land, which is in most parts a re-theme of the existing Dinoland USA. And what I mean by that is, for example, most of the existing buildings that you have in the land are staying. They're just getting new facades, new interiors, just being re-themed. The counter service restaurant, Restaurantosaurus, it is getting re-themed. The dinosaur attraction, it's not going anywhere. It is just being re-themed, where now it is going to be an Indiana Jones theme, and instead of dinosaurs inside, you are going to have snakes. However, the stuff that is on the left side and the bottom of the art, that is where we're going to be getting all new stuff. For one, we are getting a Disney intellectual property carousel, where the village elder in the town carved Disney characters into a carousel, and that is going to go where Triceratops Spin currently sits. And then also, the big thing in this Dinoland update is we are going to be getting an all-new Encanto-themed dark ride, where Primeval Whirl previously stood. And that, of course, has already been demolished. It was demolished several years back. Disney has been filing permits for this big re-theme of Dinoland for 6 months now. There's already work happening backstage in the area as they are setting it up, where they're going to have trailers where the Imagineers and contractors are going to be able to work. And I expect that we will see parts of Dinoland begin to be walled off and work get underway later this year. Perhaps November, that's what we heard according to one of our sources, and that's also something that has been something that other sites have heard as well, and they have corroborated as well. It sounds like around November, we're going to start to see those walls that sit around Primeval Whirl. They're going to start to get bigger and block off more stuff as Disney gets underway with this project. So get those rides in on Triceratops Spin if you happen to be a fan of that one, or the Boneyard, or the Carnival area, because now that we are in fiscal 2025 and the money is flowing here and Disney's done all the permitting work, or they're well into it now, the Dinoland attractions are definitely on the endangered species list. Of course, also at D23, we heard of arguably even more interesting projects for Walt Disney World, like a Monsters, Inc. coaster going somewhere in Disney's Hollywood Studios, perhaps where the Muppet Courtyard currently is, or maybe even the Animation Courtyard. We also heard about, for the Magic Kingdom, Disney removing the Rivers of America and putting in Cars. Here's the thing though, despite Parks Chairman Josh D'Amaro's claim that dirt is already moving, personally, I do not anticipate that we are going to see any major in-park construction or demolition work related to either of those two big Walt Disney World projects until we're inside of the year 2025. So not the fiscal year. I don't think we're going to see any construction work on these until next year. I do suspect though on the Monsters Inc. one, we are going to hear some sort of elaboration from Disney before the year is out on exactly what is going on there, because fans are very anxious for details. And don't forget, Disney has another D23 event coming up, the first one ever in Brazil later this year, and I think that we might be hearing some big stuff there, some more news for Walt Disney World, and we'll see how these projects have developed just since the last round of announcements and teasers that we got in August. So putting these big projects aside, where perhaps the budgets being reset at the parks matters the most, even though it's not as flashy, is park maintenance. Perhaps the most egregious example right now can be found at Epcot, where the very day Disney opened the long-awaited center of the former Future World area, the new LED light installations in that area began to fail. And as the weeks and months went on, this issue got worse and worse. And we reported a year ago that we believed this was due to installation mistakes. There were installation issues with putting the LED strips in the ground where they were not properly sealed in the way that they were supposed to. They were not properly weather sealed, where between the Florida rain and the nightly cleaning and pressure washing of the park, basically water was getting into those housings and corroding the very nice LED fixtures that Disney invested in, which is a very unfortunate situation there. And in the year since the middle of Epcot opened, the lights have not been fixed. They've just been slowly glitching out, blinking out of existence. And what work has been done on them since last year is things like trying to duct tape over the seams in the housings for the lights. Definitely stuff that is not up to Disney standards. What I believe is going on here is that park maintenance is just trying to keep the area in presentable enough condition where as soon as they get the money, they can go in and do this thing for real. And now that we are in fiscal 2025 here, I suspect, mind you, that room has been made in the budget, in Epcot's budget, to finally fix these lights in the near future. So fingers crossed, keep on the lookout for that. And aside from the parks getting some love in the new fiscal year, all of this investment is predicated on Disney continuing to attract visitors. And that has not been the easiest this past year. Disney's earnings results have shown a weakening in attendance at Walt Disney World. We keep hearing that bookings are down. It was a very quiet summer at Walt Disney World. If you look at the wait time data, things weren't going a whole lot better at the other area theme parks either, mind you. It was definitely a slow summer in Orlando. But Disney is supposed to be the exception. They're the industry leader, so this is not a good thing to see. Now, based on what our sources have told me, what they've been hearing, it sounds like bookings are quite good for the Halloween season and the Christmas season, as to be expected. But next year, it seems like things are a little dicey. And to that end, Disney announced today a slew of new promotions trying to get guests to the parks in the first half of next year. These Walt Disney World room discounts include up to $200 off your room per night if you buy a certain ticket package and go during certain dates, up to 25% off regular room rates in early early 2025, and up to 35% off for Walt Disney World annual pass holders. It seems to me that the 2021-2022, we have endless demand, we can do whatever we want attitude that the executives had has definitely shifted now, where they are realizing that they're going to have to do more moving forward to actually win over guests and get them to the parks, as it seems like there is an overall demand issue in the economy right now, especially when it comes to these expensive vacations. However, even with weaker demand, Disney's still raising their prices. As we also just found out, the peak pricing for individual lightning lanes at Seven Dwarfs, Tron, and Cosmic Rewind, they are all going up effective later this month. So the model here is we need to get more people to the parks, we need to sweeten the pot, and then once they're there, they're gonna have to buy Lightning Lane, they're gonna have to buy all the stuff that you buy when you're at the parks, and that is how they are going to get those per guest spend numbers even higher. They're already astronomical, but they need to get them even higher so that in the event they have to tell investors, hey, we had less attendance, we made more money off of each guest who came to our parks, so overall, we did a pretty good job. That is what they're counting on here. That's the latest in the world of Disney today. Be sure to subscribe with those notifications on to stay up to date on the latest happening. I am hard at work on a documentary that I've been working on for the better part of a year now, which is going to be pretty awesome. It has taken a lot of work, but it is going well. So stay tuned for that and much, much more. Thank you so much for watching. From the Mickey Views Magic Studio, this is Brayden. Have a magical day.